room clearing out a space so God can speak for me. Clearing out a space so God can love through me. Oh, I make room for God. For God, I make room for God. So God can speak through me. I make room. I make room. Room for God. So God can move through me. I make room for God. Make room for God. So God can move through me. And it's in my surrender that I found power. Yes, it's in my surrender that I am made stronger. I make room. I make room for God. So God can move. Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. I make room for you. I make room for you. Room for you. I make room for God. 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 Clearing out a space so God can move through me. Clearing out a space so God can speak through me. Clearing out a space so God can love through me. I make room. I make room for God. For God. Oh, I make room for God. Oh, I make room for God. 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 Oh, I'm clearing out.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Sunday. It is so good to be here with you on another Sunday morning as we gather together to celebrate the magnificence and significance of the presence and power of God operating in, through, and as us, operating in, through, and as you, operating in, through, and as each and every one of us. Let's begin by grounding ourselves with the affirmative words of prayer. And I'm going to share a reading today from the Daily Word. You can close your eyes and take this message in. The word today is free. And the affirmation, I am free through my awareness of God. Visualizing freedom, I may think of a bird soaring above the earth, a child running across a park flying a kite, a waterfall cascading into a river that will continue its journey as far as I can see. Beyond those exhilarating images, another, more personal example evokes a feeling of freedom. my connection to God. God is limitless and unbounded. When I align myself with the Spirit of God within me, I feel likewise limitless. This is where my freedom lies. No matter the state of my life or the conditions of the world, I remain free in God. I want to read that line again. No matter the state of my life or the conditions of the world, I remain free in God. I face each day with hope and positive expectation. Just as the bird that soars, the kite that glides, the waterfall that roars, I move freely through life because of my oneness with God. Again, the affirmation, I am free through my awareness of God. And so from this place of awareness, if you have not already closed your eyes, I invite you to close your eyes. From this place of awareness, if you have not already gotten still, I invite you to get still. And let's take a conscious breath in together. And we breathe out. Again, we take an intentional breath in and an intentional breath out. Bringing the focus of our attention here and now, we breathe in and we breathe out. We are here now. We are here now. We are here now. There is only one mind, only one power, only one presence that is working in all, through all, and as all. There is one life. That life is Mother, Father, God. That life, it is perfect, whole, and complete. And that life is my life now. It is perfect, whole, and complete. And that life is your life now. It is perfect, whole, and complete. And that is all life now. It is perfect, whole, and complete. We put the focus of our attention and our awareness and our recognition on the reality of God, on the reality of good, and the reality that it is present right here and now. For what I know to be true is that God neither comes nor goes.
Yes.
What I know to be true is that God can only be here and can only be now. That means that the seat that I occupy, the space that I am in, is filled and overflowing with God's stuff, with God's goodness, with God's grace, with the healing power of God, with the prospering power of God, with the joy that God is. And the space that you occupy, where you are sitting, it is a God spot filled and overflowing with all that God is. For we know the truth that there is no spot where God is not. And so we bring the full focus of our attention, our full awareness to the recognition that we are living, moving, and having our being in the divine. And as we recognize that we are living, moving, and having our being in the divine, we know that the divine lives, moves, and has its expression, its activity, and is activated in, through, and as us. Just as the wave is the action and the activity of the vast eternal ocean, so we are the wave of God. What God is in the large, we are in the small. We embrace our God nature today. We embrace our divinity today. We embrace that which is sacred about us today. We embrace all that is good about us today. We embrace the reality that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And right here and right now, we turn to the reality of our spiritual nature. Right here and right now, we turn to that thing that is bigger, greater, wider, more vast, more intelligent than the experiences of this world and the conditions of this world. We close our eyes so that we can see more clearly. And so it is out of this awareness that I speak this word in faith, with faith, and on behalf of every soul that is listening. As I speak the word I am invoking the universal I am, which is present within each and every one of us. I am aware that God is and God is within me. I am aware that God is and God is operating in, through, and as me. And so I am grateful and thankful for this gathering and this community. I'm grateful for this gathering called the Weekend Service, and I'm grateful for this community that is Celebration Spiritual Center. I'm grateful that there is a place that reminds us that miracles are our birthright. I'm grateful for a place that reminds us that we are prosperous now. I'm grateful and thankful for a place that reminds us that happiness, success, radiant health, and money belong to us right here and right now. Oh, I am so grateful. I am so very thankful for the lighthouse that CSC is. I am so grateful and thankful that hearts and minds are liberated. I am so grateful and thankful that fearful thoughts are let go. I am so grateful and thankful in this moment that limiting thoughts are let go. Liberation is here now. Liberation is here now. Freedom is here now. Freedom is here now because we understand our oneness with God. So now as we move through this service, we move through this service knowing that we will leave here better than when we walked in. As we move through this service, we know that we will be enlightened and enlivened. We know that we will prosper and prosper and prosper all the time. So with joy and thanksgiving, I now release this prayer. I release it back into the law, which is always in operation, responding and becoming according to the pattern of thought that we provide. And this pattern of thought that has been provided, it is good, it is life-giving, life-supporting, it is healing, it is constructive, and it is beneficial, and it is prospering. So we must experience all of these things and so much more. Thank you, God, in, through, and as us. From this place of awareness, I now release this prayer, and together we say, Amen.
Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
And so it is.
So it is.
So it is, and so it must be. Well, hello again. Good morning. Happy Sunday. I'm Pastor Greg.
I'm Pastor Yolanda.
And we are so happy to be here with you on this Sunday morning for the weekend service. We're so grateful to be back after the holiday weekend. We trust that you had a wonderful holiday weekend. We had a wonderful holiday weekend. I hope it was restful. It was restful for us. And of course, now we are in September. It's still summer, but most of us are back in the sort of regular activity of the year. And kids are back at school. We speak words of protection and blessing over every student, no matter whether you're studying for your doctorate or whether you're entering preschool. We speak and know safety for each and every one of you. So grateful to be here with you all. And if you are a first-time guest, we would love to say hello and welcome to you. We're so happy that you joined us. We're so happy that something or someone brought you here, whether someone invited you or whether the algorithm on YouTube or Facebook popped this up in your feed. We're grateful, and we know that there are no mistakes. You attract what you are looking for. So we're grateful that you're here. You can feel free to shout yourself out in the comments. Let us know where you're connecting in from, your city, your state, your country. You may find that there is someone connected in the very same place that you are, because CSC is a global community. We love to say that the first time you come to CSC, you're a guest, but when you come back, you're family. So we welcome you to the CSC family. And as a part of our family, we would love to stay in touch with you. So the information you see here on your screen is how you stay in touch with us and how we can stay in touch with you. This is how you access your digital connection card. Just text that keyword welcome, just the word welcome, no additional messages or emojis, to that phone number, 347-472-1078. You'll receive a response with a link that takes you to the digital connection card. Click that link into your information. We just need your name and your email, and then you're all set. You'll be on our mailing list. You'll receive our weekly newsletter that goes out on Fridays, and then any other correspondence that we send to let you know about classes and things that are happening at CSC. But again, we're so happy that you're here, and we're confident that you will receive something that will benefit you in thriving and living an empowered life. So from this place of awareness, this is a wonderful moment for us to move forward with our news and updates, and then we will move forward with the meditation, the music, and the message. I am encouraging each and every one of you to download the Church Center app. You're going to hear us talking about this each and every week because we want as many people as possible to have this app on your phone. You can go to the Google Play Store or the App Store, or you can use that link that you see on your screen, celebrationsc.churchcenter.com/setup, which will give you the direct download. The Church Center app is an extension of our website, but it's much more interactive. You can give through the app. You'll be able to register for courses and classes, but most importantly, you'll be able to connect with the CSC community outside of Sunday. So I know that I see you all, you're commenting and connecting with each other here in the live stream, but you can connect with the community outside of the live stream. And so we created a new group called CSC Live. This will be a way for you to even connect with PY and myself, but also ask questions, share your prosperity reports, have conversations about the sermon, so many wonderful things. And we've just rolled this out recently and folks are starting to join. And so this is why we want you to be a part of, to grab the app so that you can be a part of this group. Again, you can use this QR code to scan or take the screenshot real quick so you have that, or you can go to the URL, celebrationsc.churchcenter.com/setup. And again, it's available in the Google Play Store or the App Store. So you can go to either of those stores and just search for Church Center, download, and connect. Every third Sunday is God Talk Sunday. This is your opportunity to ask questions. This is your opportunity to receive real live support from PY and myself, because we recognize that when you're on this metaphysical path, you're going to have questions. This path is really a path of unlearning. And so the questions that you have, you don't want to be out on your own trying to figure it out. And sometimes when you're out on your own, that might send you down the wrong path. PY and I have been there. And so one of the things that we did, we created the God Talk to have that space to ask questions. You may hear something that PY says in a meditation, or you may have a question about meditation. You may hear something that's said even in a song or in the sermon. Or you may just have a challenge and you want to know, how do I apply these new thought metaphysical principles to what I'm experiencing? What I love to say is that if I can't apply these principles to the real stuff that's going on in my life, it's useless. But what life has continued to show me over and over and over and over again is that these principles work. These principles apply to any and everything if I am willing to work it. So join us for the God Talk. It's real, it's live, no question is off limits, but of course you gotta be in the space to ask the questions. And so we share the Zoom link with everyone on our mailing list. So for our first time guests, this is a reason why you may wanna be on our mailing list, so that you can get that Zoom link and password and make sure that you can join us on September 21st. That's at 1 p.m. following the weekend service. Every fourth Sunday is Healing Sunday. On Healing Sunday, we hold a specific spiritual mind treatment, a specific affirmative prayer around healing. Healing is happening in our community in so many profound ways. As I shared last month, we have heard about successful surgeries in our community, profound healings, diagnoses have been reversed. So many wonderful things are happening in our community as a result of us standing in the highest, knowing that healing and well-being in your body is your birthright. And so we encourage you to join us for the fourth Sunday, and we encourage you to invite someone to be here with us on the fourth Sunday for that Healing Sunday prayer. If you have a prayer request, you can send in your prayer request to prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org. We are always holding the entire community in our hearts and our minds, knowing the highest and best for you. And we recognize that you may have a specific prayer request, or you may want to submit the name of someone else. And so you can do that by emailing prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org. And when you send in that prayer request, see yourself releasing that burden, casting that burden on the mind of God, and going free, making yourself free and available so that you can receive what it is for you to do, free and available to new ideas, free and available to hear the voice of God within you, to be a beneficial presence if it's in the life of someone you love, or what is the next step for you to do if you are in need of prayer. Every Wednesday morning, we gather together for the Momentum Prayer Call. The Momentum Prayer Call is a wonderful way to begin the day in the middle of the week on Wednesday. It's also a wonderful way to continue the momentum that we create here on Sundays. We start with a reading, we pray, and we move on with our day. If you're unable to make it live, all good. Every prayer is recorded. And so you can use the playback number you see there on your screen, enter the access code, and the most recent prayer will play. Our companion study series of the month remains, the 7 Habits of Prosperous People. This, I think, is a wonderful series to support you as you're integrating all that we learned in our summer masterclass, all that we received through studying Open Your Mind to Prosperity. The 7 Habits of Prosperous People are all about, now, how do I live this out on a daily basis? And what are the things that I need to keep in mind? And what are the things that I need to be practicing? How do I need to show up for myself? And how do I need to show up in my world? So we encourage you to watch that sermon series. It's available on the homepage of our YouTube channel. I am so excited to let you all know I shared a webinar yesterday, The Romantic Comedy Secret to Manifesting Anything That You Want. And I'm making that webinar available to CSC. It'll be streaming this evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're just hearing about this, wonderful. If you missed it, you heard about it but missed it, all good. It will be streaming on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel this evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and will be available for the rest of the week. The Romantic Comedy Secret is very interesting because rom-coms follow the same path as the path of manifestation. In Act 1 of a rom-com, there's some excitement. They meet. In Act 2, there's usually some resistance. One person doesn't like the other, or something happens and they break up. In Act 3, there's the breakthrough and the happily ever after. Well, in Manifestation, Act 1, you have the idea, the vision, what you want to be, do, or have. In Act 2, you meet resistance. The fear, doubt, and worry shows up. But in Act 3, you have the breakthrough and the manifestation. The key is learning how to move successfully from Act 2 to Act 3. And so we talk about that and so much more in the webinar. Again, that's streaming this evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and will be available on our YouTube channel for the rest of the week. Finally, we encourage you to invite your friends and family to the live stream. CSC has always grown through word of mouth, and so we are always looking for those that are looking for us. If you know someone that may be interested in what CSC is all about, send them a link to this live stream, send them a link to a past live stream, and invite them to then join us live any Sunday of the month. And so that completes our news and updates for this Sunday. This means that we now have the wonderful opportunity to go within as we are led in meditation with PY.
Yes. It is time for the meditation experience, our weekly opportunity to release the hold of the external world and to go within, to align ourselves with the real knowing that God lives, moves, and has its being in us. And so we take time every Sunday while we love and encourage you to study all the sacred text. It's important. But it is only through your direct experience of the God within you for yourself that you even know the things you're reading are real and true for you. And so we do that. We take time to release the hold of the external world, to allow ourselves to go within and return to the center of our being, where the freedom is, where the love is, where the peace is, where the joy and the goodness resides all the time. And this month, it is a new month, and so we have a new opportunity to remember something that is true. It's a theme today about freedom. I read this morning about the limitless nature of God within me and operating as me. And so I wanted to bring that idea forward with you today. Our affirmative thought, I am free in God. I am free in God. So whatever my limiting beliefs in my mind are, they are no match for the freedom that resides within me. Whatever the situation that appears to limit me, it is no match for the freedom and the joy and the knowing that is within me. And I get the opportunity to connect to it whenever I choose. Whenever I close my eyes and take the breath, whenever I inhale the goodness that is God and exhale the grace that is God, I remember in that present moment what is true. There are no limits on my goodness. There are no limits on my greatness. There are no limits on me, for I am free in God. Let's take that knowing, that sense of invigoration that we feel, that power surging through us and the breath guiding us deep into the center and reconnect to the truth. Plant your palms on the tops of your thighs and just briefly look around the room and notice where you are. You're not in the past. You're not even, well, PY, is this a limitation that I can transcend? You're right here and right now, where freedom is, where God is, where peace and ease and joy are. And from this place of awareness, allow your eyelids to gently close. And that's all that it takes to begin the inward journey, the sense and knowing of connection, and the feeling of freedom to be activated. Let's just notice the breath for a few rounds, shall we? And whether the breath appears to be deep or appears to be shallow, we make no judgment on the breath, but we do stand in gratitude for the movement, the feeling of the breath circulating in through and as the energy of freedom. Beautiful, everyone. Now let's take this focus of attention and awareness deep into the low belly. Let's take this sense of freedom and the animation of the breath to activate even more freedom within us. We're going to drop the breath nice and deep into the low belly, inhaling for a count of 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and then sinking deeper into mind and the awareness of freedom for 4. Let's begin. Inhale. Hold the breath there. Relax the jaw. Allow yourself to hear and feel the release. Sigh it out. And sinking deeper and deeper and deeper. Into the low belly, dropping that breath nice and deep, activating the parasympathetic. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Relax the jaw, let your body feel the release and hear the sound. And sinking deeper, letting the body relax more and more. In through the low belly, now up through the rib cage, expanding the sides of the body. And hold. Relax the jaw, release the breath, sigh it out. Sending relaxation as you sink deeper and deeper and deeper into the knowingness of your freedom. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage, we've expanded the breath to the sides. Now send that breath to the back and the front. And hold it there. Relax the jaw. No pressure, just a release of whatever's been keeping you constricted. Sigh it out. As the breath trails off, sink deeper and deeper and deeper. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage, connecting low to mid to now high breath, rising to the heart chakra, center of the chest. Hold it there. And relax the jaw and allow the body to follow. Sigh it out. Your body wants to relax. You've made the space for it to relax and sink deeper and deeper. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage, up through into the heart. We've connected all three parts of this energetic full breath. Holding at the top. And relax the jaw. Send that relaxation through the body as you release the sound, sighing it out. Sinking deeper, relaxing more and more. Noticing the feeling of freedom and relaxation can exist together. Let's send that energy throughout our body, from our toes to our crown chakra and beyond. Let's slow the breath down even more, inhaling for a count of 6, holding for 6, closing the lips now, and exhaling through the nostrils for 6. And then just letting the body follow the path of relaxation for 6. Inhale. Hold. Close the lips, exhale through the nostrils. Feeling the freedom of breath moving, the knowing of relaxation guiding. Take a few rounds in and out through the nostrils on your own. Each round making you feel connected and relaxed. Beautiful, everyone. Scan your body and notice without judgment, just self-love and self-compassion. If there's any tension, send the breath there. Give the muscles their freedom to relax. Maybe it's the forehead that feels tense. Send relaxation there. Maybe the shoulders or the throat feels a little tight. Love and compassion and relaxation and breath. Sending it down the arms and out the fingertips. Down the body and out the soles of your feet. Feeling supported and free to relax even more. I will monitor the time. You take the inward journey. And if the mind wanders, it is perfectly okay. It is doing what the mind does. And when you become aware, make the choice to be here now. Bring your mind back here to our loving, true thought. I am free in God. Let that freedom wash over you and relax you more and more. I am free in God. You are free in God. We are all free in God now. With our eyelids still closed, we experience the limitless nature, the unbounded awareness that it is God. With our eyelids still closed, we take the mental picture of how good it feels to be connected to the source. With our eyes still closed, we slowly begin our return, not empty-handed, but filled up with our awareness and connection to God. Let's begin by wiggling the fingers and the toes. That soft, subtle movement is all that is necessary in this moment. Plant the palms on the tops of the thighs. Inhale, draw the shoulders up by the ears. Pausing briefly. Exhaling, releasing the shoulder blades back and down. Nice and easy. Inhale up. Elongating the breath. Exhale, releasing the shoulder blades back and down. One last time. Inhale up. Exhale, releasing the shoulder blades back and down. Bring the palms together at heart center, thumbs into the chest, the sternum, right there, that bony ridge, center of the chest. And if you're able, bow the chin towards the fingertips, feeling the release at the base of the neck all the way down the spine. And as we release that energy, what remains is our peace, our ease, our freedom. Allow the eyelids to gently open and find a soft focal point. No strain on the eyes or the experience. Inhale, raise the chin, raise the gaze, release the breath. Maintain the peace and the freedom. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, PY.
You're welcome.
Yes, yes. Maintain the peace. As a reminder, Mondays are Meditation Mondays. So the meditation will be available and stream again tomorrow at 12 p.m. On our YouTube channel and on Facebook. It would also be available live in the Church Center app. So you have the opportunity to watch it wherever it fits for you. So we are in a new month, September. We have completed our masterclass series, so we are back in our regular service mode, which means that we have a new sermon series. And as I was thinking about this sermon series and sort of prepping for it, this is our 12th year. CSC is 12 years old this year, and this is a book that I've been wanting to teach for the past 12 years. I really thought I would have taught it in our first few years, but it seemed appropriate to honor our 12 years by doing a 12-week sermon series inspired by and based on the book, The 12 Conditions of a Miracle by Todd Michael. So our series that's going to take us through November right up until the Thanksgiving holiday is Miracle Minded, the 12 Conditions of a Miracle. I'm excited about this because this, as Todd Michael writes about it, is the Miracle Worker's Handbook. Right? And that's not to be confused with Miracle Workers as written about in A Course in Miracles. But each and every one of us are miracle workers, and each and every one of us have the ability to experience miracles in our lives. But you must understand these 12 conditions, and you must understand how to operate in and through them and get them going so that you can experience the miracle. So I'm going to tell you more about it in the sermon as we begin this series with today's message, Spirit Abhors a Vacuum. So we're going to hear from Soul 21, and I'll be with you on the other side with today's message. And there's this thing called the still small voice. It's gently tapping and asking us to maybe shift our thoughts, our beliefs when they need to be. But eventually, when we ignore that voice, things can get really loud. For example, maybe you don't believe that you're worthy. And you might not consciously know that, but all of a sudden there comes a moment where it seems like everyone and everything is reminding you of that. You go to work and you get a bad evaluation at work and you feel unworthy. Then you go home and you cook dinner and your family or your partner or your spouse don't say thank you or don't say how good the dinner is. You're feeling unworthy. Your kids don't say thank you. You're feeling like, what am I worth? And we can go to a place of blaming everyone and everything outside of us. Like, there's something wrong with my boss. They don't appreciate me. There's something wrong with my kids and my loved ones. They don't appreciate me. Or we can listen to that knocking that's saying, look within. Because there's a pattern of belief within yourself that you're seeing played out in life. Change the thought, change the experience. And so this song is a declaration when I found myself in that place of my beliefs screaming back at me on the screen of my own life. The only thing I could say was I let go. I let go of it all. The thoughts, the blame, the shame. Hear the words of this song, I let go. I let go of the pain.
I let go of the pain.
I let go of the fear.
I let go of the fear.
I let go of the wrongs.
I let go of the wrong.
I let go of the years.
I let go of the years.
I let go of the
I
shame.
let go of the shame.
There is no one to blame.
There is no one to blame.
Freedom is my new home.
Freedom is my new home.
Now that I've let go. Yes, let go.
Let go.
I let go of small life.
I let go of small life.
I let go of the lies.
I let go of the lies.
Today I am saying goodbye
I am saying
to all of those tears that I cried.
all the tears that I cried.
I let go of the shame.
I let go of the shame.
There is no one to blame.
There is no one to blame.
Freedom is my new home.
Freedom is my new home.
Right here and right now that
Now that
I let go. That I let go. Release, relief, relief.
Relief.
I am dancing
I am
in freedom.
dancing in
It feels so good to be free. Release, I have peace. I am living
I
in
am
freedom.
living free.
I let go.
Of the shame.
There is no one to blame. Freedom is my new home. It happens that quickly when you decide I let go of the shame. There is no one to blame. I let go
of the shame.
There is no one to blame.
There is no one to blame.
This is mastery. This is power. When you realize you are no longer a victim of life, you are no longer a victim of circumstances, that there is no one doing anything to you, but you are witnessing the power of your own thoughts and beliefs, and you have the power to change them right here and right now. You have the power to let them go. You have the power to let the past be the past and choose to be free. You have the power to drop the story. Oh, I let go, let go. I don't know what it is for you, but I know that you and you and you and you and you can let go. That weight, that weight, that weight, that weight. It's been on your shoulders too long. You've been holding it way too long. There is no one to blame. One more time, I let go. No one to blame. Freedom.
Freedom is my new home. Now that I let go, let go.
So it is. So it is. Ooh, oh my. I'm sitting here fighting back tears because I remember the space that I was in when I wrote that song. I remember the space that I was in, recognizing that I needed to hear and affirm those words. And so I don't know what you're experiencing. I don't know what challenges are present in your life right now, but I know that this song is part of the remedy, right? To begin to affirm the reality. I let go of small life. I let go of the lies. I am saying goodbye to all the tears that I cried. I'm going to let the past be the past. I'm going to drop the story, realizing and saying and declaring that I am no longer a victim of the circumstances of life, but I know that life is operating through me. And when I change my thoughts, I change the condition. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you, Soul 21. Thank you to the CSC band. So grateful and thankful for that song. It is very powerful. Hello again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each and every one of you, wherever you may be, at whatever time that you're watching the stream. It is good to be here with you. And I want to dig in. I want to dig into this sermon because I have some powerful things to share with you that are transformative and good and wonderful and beneficial. But first, let us begin, as we always do, with a centering prayer. And so I invite you to repeat these words after me. I welcome the Spirit of truth into my mind and let it grow in my heart. Thank you, God, in, through, and as me. Amen, Ashe, and so it is. And so it is. Yes, yes. Well, again, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are beginning a new sermon series. This is a 12-week sermon series, Miracle Minded, the 12 Conditions of a Miracle. And this sermon series is inspired by the book titled The 12 Conditions of a Miracle, The Miracle Worker's Handbook by Todd Michael. Now, I know we're always giving you books, we're giving you book titles, and we tend to use a lot of sermons. We teach from the book or it's inspired by a book, don't run out and go get this book. You don't need to do that. We've spent an entire summer reading. It's been an entire summer immersed in a book. Of course, it'll be wonderful to have this book in your library, and I recommend that you have it in your library. But in this sermon series, I'm going to teach you the 12 conditions so that you don't have to read the book. I'm going to teach you the 12 conditions and give you practical steps to make them a way of life. So this book, The 12 Conditions of a Miracle, is based on what Todd Michael calls the Alpha Passage. And the Alpha Passage is the story of the loaves and fishes as told by the writer of the Gospel according to Matthew in chapter 14, verses 13 through 23. Now, I said to you all last month, this is also kind of be a Reimagine the Bible series. So you might have heard me say something that may be unfamiliar to you. I said, as told by the writer of the Gospel according to Matthew. Matthew didn't write that Gospel. Mark didn't write that Gospel. Luke didn't write that Gospel. John didn't write that Gospel, right? But it was written in their name. Right? So as told by this writer, the writer of the Gospel according to Matthew in chapter 14, verses 13 through 23. And what Todd Michael writes about, he says that this Alpha passage teaches us something about how to be miracle workers in our lives, that he believes and teaches that this story is like a code. Once you have the key to unlock it, he writes, the technique of miracles is laid out in 12 steps, 12 conditions. When these 12 conditions are activated, they act as a kind of combination lock, opening a gate leading to the dimension of the miraculous. So you may be asking, you may be thinking, well, what are these 12 conditions? Because clearly I need to know them. The 12 conditions are as follows. Condition 1, emptiness. Condition 2, alignment. Condition 3, asking. Condition 4, maximizing. Condition 5, giving. Condition 6, grounding. Condition 7, visualizing. Condition 8, gratitude. Condition 9, acting as if. Condition 10, engaging the cycle. Condition 11, receiving. And condition 12, recycling. Now, if you're writing those down, you can come back and rewind the video to get all of those, but you'll hear them again over the next 12 weeks. I actually won't read this list out each and every week, but I think hearing this list should spark your curiosity, especially if you know the account of the loaves and fishes, because what does maximizing and grounding have to do with the miracle of loaves and fishes? What do any of these words have to do with that miracle? Well, let's put our focus on the first condition, emptiness. One of the things I hope you notice is the alignment with where we began when we started the summer masterclass of Open Your Mind to Prosperity. Catherine Ponder starts off by teaching us that cleansing, purification, and release is the starting point of prosperity. The first condition of the 12 conditions of a miracle is similar, but far more profound. And the first condition, emptiness, is based on a single verse. That first verse, Matthew 14:23. And I'm reading here from the New Revised Standard Version. Now, when Jesus heard this, he withdrew from there in a boat to a deserted place by himself. But when the crowds heard it, they followed him on foot from the towns. Very simple statement. It just sounds like a part of a narrative that's taking us from one point of the story to the next point of the story. Jesus hears some information. He then goes and gets on a boat to a deserted place by himself. The crowds hear it and they follow him on foot from the towns. We can read this account as a story. We can read this account of the loaves and fishes as a narrative, or we can read it as Todd Michael encourages us to, as I read earlier, a technique, 12 steps, 12 conditions, a code that unlocks miracles. And so I want to insert a theological term here because this is very important, right? There's a theological term that we use called hermeneutic. And what a hermeneutic is, it's like a lens. It's a way of seeing. So imagine if I took off these glasses and put on another pair of glasses that were red in tint. Then everything that I see would have that red tint and that red hue. And if I picked up something that was blue, it wouldn't look blue because we know that red and blue makes purple, right? And so that blue item would now look purple because of the lens that I have on it. And that could be cool, but it would also be false, right? Because I would be declaring that it's purple. It's purple, it's purple. What y'all talking about? That thing ain't blue. God said it's purple, right? But what I have on a lens that's red, that's making it that color. And so it's important to understand that when we're reading the Bible, what we're always using is a hermeneutic. When someone says the Bible says, what they're really saying is this interpretation says, this way of seeing it says. And it doesn't necessarily mean that that's a wrong interpretation, but it's important that we understand that it is simply an interpretation. It's a hermeneutic. And so what we're doing for these 12 weeks, we're putting on a very specific lens that Todd Michael has invoked that I think is beautiful and powerful and empowering and constructive and beneficial and miraculous. And so it helps us to see something that is just, could be just a mundane story or a nice story. Some people put on a heroic savior lens when they read this. Oh, look, Jesus, he's so amazing. He just fed all the people. Oh, wow, Jesus is so powerful. This is why we must worship Jesus, because look at what he can do. That's a lens. But this lens that Todd Michael is inviting us to put on is a lens that says that what we are reading is a technique that you can practice. What you are reading is a set of steps that you can practice and embody and then experience miracles in your own life. And that's supported by one of the realities of what Jesus is quoted as saying, that greater things than these will you do also. So it's clear that Jesus was always teaching the disciples how to be, how to live, how to express, how to practice, not to worship him. Similarly, we look at the Lord's Prayer. The disciples asked Jesus how to pray, teach us to pray. And he said, pray like this, not pray these words. And what we know is actually a very easy study to find this out. But the prayer that he used, most of that Lord's Prayer wasn't even brand new. It's part of a well-known Jewish prayer that already existed, that they already knew. So he wasn't saying, pray these words, pray something that you already know. He was giving a formula for prayer. So this lens that Todd Michael, this hermeneutic that he's inviting us to put on, is not far-fetched by any means, because we recognize that actually much of what Jesus taught was a code, was a way of being, was the words, again, he used a technique, a combination lock, steps that we can then embody and practice. So using this hermeneutic, what is the symbolic meaning here? Jesus withdrew to a deserted place, emptiness. Now, there's a spiritual principle that we all know and heard, and you've heard PY and myself say this and quote this thousands and thousands of times. Nature abhors a vacuum. And in the text, Todd Michael writes this. He says, and what is nature? There should be no confusion on this point. Nature is spirit, or at least a very large part of spirit. Therefore, another way of stating this law is that spirit abhors a vacuum. If you're taking notes, I invite you to write that big and bold, highlight it, circle it, underline it, whatever you need to do. Spirit abhors a vacuum. And let's sit with that for a second. Now, I must admit, in some ways, by stating that, we are anthropomorphizing God. We are making God human, as though God has likes and dislikes, in order for us to understand the nature of the divine and the nature of source, because that's what we have to do as human beings, right? We're using something that we already understand to then expand our minds even a little bit to understand the truth on the divine level. Spirit, God, source, the all in all, abhors a vacuum. Now, this does not mean that it hates or even dislikes empty space. It means that it cannot allow empty space. Lord, that feels so good to me. Put that down in your notes. Spirit cannot allow empty space. This is why we practice the condition of emptiness, because emptiness requires God's source nature to fill it. Somebody could just go home right now. That was exactly what you needed to hear. The reason that we practice and create emptiness, that spirit abhors a vacuum, because it is its nature to fill it. It cannot allow empty space. And so as a miracle worker, when we practice this first condition, emptiness, in a sense, it's almost like we're forcing God's hand. Y'all want to make God show up. You want God to show up in your life. And so you praise and you holler and you shout and you sing and you dance. But all you got to do is get empty. Because it is the nature of the divine. It is the nature of God itself to fill. It knows nothing but to fill. It can't allow emptiness. We see this depicted over and over and over again in the creation stories across all traditions around the world. There's this idea that there was nothing and source had to fill it, because there can never be nothing. And so in some stories, it wanted to know itself. Out of the oneness, it wanted to experience itself. And so it split itself off. We recognize it in science. We have and understand the Big Bang, that there was nothing and then there was an explosion, that then life is experiencing and expressing itself even now. It's continuing to grow. It's continuing to expand. New galaxies, new stars, new planets, new moons are being created and co-created. It is nature's nature to fill. Spirit abhors a vacuum. It cannot allow emptiness. And so the moment that we create an empty space, source, by law, by nature, by its very nature, will fill it. You all may remember Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind, in the introduction of The Science of Mind. He gives us one of the beautiful metaphors and analogies that I love of understanding that thought creates a mold in the subjective or the subconscious mind. And so we talk often, and I teach often, this idea that whatever thought we hold in our mind, it's like we're creating a mold, right? We're creating, Halloween is coming up next month. So you could have a cake mold that's a jack-o'-lantern, right? And so the batter, you put that batter in that cake mold, it's going to be a Halloween pumpkin. It's not going to be a Christmas wreath. It can't be a Christmas wreath, because that's not the mold that you provided. But we also recognize that it's the nature of the batter to become whatever the mold is. Yes, yes. And so this is why we teach create molds. You're creating a mold in your mind. You're creating a mold through your thoughts and through the pattern of your thoughts, because it is source's nature to fill it. You don't even have to worry about that. That's not your job. And it's beautiful to understand that this is how it works. This is how it operates. When you understand how it operates, then you work with it. You work with the way that source works. This is the very nature of God. Now, how do we apply this first condition? How do we apply this first condition in our lives as we face our own challenges? Well, first, I want to take you to Todd Michael takes that first verse that I read earlier, and he reinterprets it with this lens, this hermeneutic that he's given us, so that we can hear it anew. We can hear it fresh. We can see it from another angle. And he writes, Jesus went away into the desert alone. There he withdrew his self or ego by going down into a state of emptiness and inner stillness, a place or condition of potential. Now, I love that place or condition of potential, because what did I just talk about when I talked about the mold, right? That empty mold for Halloween is potentially going to be a Halloween cake. That empty mold of a Christmas wreath is potentially going to be a Christmas wreath. But of course, you would have to have the mold, you would have to have the cake batter in order for that thing to become. And so metaphysically, this is what we're doing. Now, I know as some of you hear me, hear what I just read, you may be thinking, here we go again. PG's going to tell us to meditate. Lord, they always telling us to meditate. We just meditated earlier. I don't really like meditation. Do I have to meditate? And I bet you PG is going to talk about transcendental meditation. Guess what? You're right. I'm going to talk about all those things today. I'm going to tell you about meditation. But there's so much more to this first condition. See, the first condition of emptiness must be practiced on both the inner, spiritual, mental, non-physical level, and it must also be practiced on the outer, external, physical level. And I'm going to share something with you a little later about the spiritual practice of fasting that I have never said or shared before. But before we get into the inner and outer practice of the first condition, there's something else important that must be noted about this Alpha passage, the story of the loaves and the fishes. Because when we're reading any text, it's important to get the whole context. It's important to look at what happened before this miracle and what happened after this miracle. Now, as we move forward through these 12 conditions, we'll talk about what happened after. But today, it's important for us to look at what happened before this miracle. Just before this miracle, and if you heard it, when I read the original text, it says, and when Jesus heard this, he withdrew. What he heard, he learned of the tragic and brutal death of his cousin, John the Baptist, who was beheaded by King Herod. According to the text, Jesus' disciples claimed and buried the body. So he wasn't aware of the death. He wasn't at the funeral. Lord, he didn't get to attend the funeral. He wasn't aware to even attend the funeral. And it says, according to the text, and after doing so, they went and told Jesus. This is a powerful setup. Like, imagine, we all have that favorite cousin, right? Our cousins are a lot of times like siblings. Imagine your cousin was murdered tragically for no reason by an evil king. The family had the funeral and everything. They're buried, and now you're getting the information. Imagine how you would feel, right? This is just can get us in the place of understanding where Jesus is. And the text says in verse 13, now when Jesus heard this, he withdrew to a deserted place by himself. Now, the writer doesn't give us any information about Jesus' emotional state, but we know that Jesus and John the Baptist were family and very close. And again, that setup that I just gave you, just think about it. He didn't even get to pay his last respects. He didn't get to have words or eulogize his dear cousin and also brother, right? And spiritual brother, right? They were so much alike, right? And so his response to an unthinkable tragedy was emptiness. I want you to hear Todd Michael, that translation again. Jesus went away into the desert alone. There he withdrew his self or ego by going down into a state of emptiness and inner stillness, a place or condition of potential. Why is this a place or condition of potential? Because spirit abhors a vacuum. Whatever your challenge, whatever your situation, whatever your need may be, whatever your desire is, whatever miracle you're looking for, create a vacuum and spirit will fill it. Wherever you're feeling grief, create a vacuum and spirit will fill it. Wherever you're feeling down, create a vacuum and spirit will fill it. Wherever you're feeling unworthy, create a vacuum and spirit will fill it. Wherever you are in doubt, create a vacuum and spirit will fill it. So how do we create a vacuum? How do we practice the first condition? Now, remember I said this must be practiced on an inner and an outer level. It must be practiced in the non-physical, and it must be practiced in the physical. And so the first condition, practicing it on the inner level, yes, meditation. Y'all know that meditation is important. Y'all know that we practice meditation here at CSC. That's why we have meditation as a part of our services, right? That's why we talk about spiritual practice not being daily spiritual practice not being an option. And 5 minutes of that practice every day should be meditation. Now, I'm going to give y'all Todd Michael, I'm going to give y'all his words, right? Because y'all heard me talk about meditation enough. When you have attained this state of inner stillness, even partially, you can immediately begin tapping the fountainhead of intelligence and draw on its indescribable power. The ability to access this meditative state is vital to the success of your dream or your miracle. Whether it is knowledge, it is knowledge, and knowledge is power. And it is power, the right kind of spiritual power that will allow you to change things. I want to say that again. And it is power, the right kind of spiritual power that will allow you to change things. Spiritual power allows you to change things. This knowledge, this power will come in large part in the form of information. This is then where the inner conversation happens. You can't even really call them downloads because it's not coming from up there or out there. It's coming from within. Meditation takes you out of the land of confusion. Meditation connects you to the source of all power. Meditation connects you to the source of all knowledge. Meditation connects you to the source of all wisdom. And yes, in the book, Todd Michael recommends transcendental meditation. Todd Michael also recommends Zen meditation and yoga, right? These are wonderful things that you can practice. I also want to note that the first time I read this book was in 2009. And at that time, transcendental meditation was on my bucket list. I was aware of it. I didn't learn TM until 7 years later in 2016. Right? So what's beautiful is sometimes you need to hear these things and hear it again. You need to read it and read it again. And you come to a fullness. And that's really the place that I was at when I decided to learn transcendental meditation. I was in this place of fullness where I had to do something. I was seeking relief, and transcendental meditation became that relief. So I'm not saying, and this does not mean that if you do not practice that specific meditation technique that you will not be able to access power and information, that you won't be able to practice the first condition. You can start with a breathing meditation, which is one of the powerful meditations to me because it's analog. You don't need an app. You don't need your phone. You don't need me. You don't need PY. You don't need to get on YouTube, right? None of that. And so start with box breathing or square breathing, right? And what is that? That's breathing in through your nose for the count of 4, and then holding for 4 counts, right? Then exhaling from your mouth for 4 counts, and then holding for 4 counts. And then starting again, breathing in for 4 counts. And set a timer, right? Start with 2 minutes, particularly if this is brand new to you, 2 to 5 minutes max to start with, right? And that's all you're doing, right? And in doing that, you're starting to reset your nervous system, right? In doing that, you're starting to create a stronger connection between your amygdala and your prefrontal cortex. In doing that, you're starting to minimize that fight, flight, or freeze state and start to access the realm where you can see things more clearly. Start to access the space where you can begin to question your thoughts and question your beliefs and decide if you want to continue to make those things your reality. And as you start with 2 to 5 minutes, then start to build up, right? Build up slowly but surely to about 20 minutes with a breathing meditation. I also recommend the Silva mind control method, which is powerful. And that's something that you can learn on your own. If you go to Audible, there's an audio series on Audible where you can learn the technique. There's several different ones. Also, there's the Silva Mind Control app. And mind control, this is not about controlling minds and manipulating people. It's only about controlling your own mind, recognizing that when you tap into this meditative state, right, then you have this profound awareness and you have a profound ability to now make choices and start to attract and call in things. And so the Silva Mind method is wonderful. Also, Deepak Chopra's primordial sound meditation, which is akin to transcendental meditation. That's another technique that you can use, right? You would have to reach out and learn that. I was also reminded, for those of you that have the book Lessons in Truth by Emily Cady, the 10th lesson in chapter 10, the title of that chapter is Finding the Secret Place. What is that all about? Emptiness. She actually quotes the famous quote, "Nature abhors a vacuum," in that chapter. And what she's teaching, it's another way of saying the same thing. If meditation, for whatever reason, you have a feeling about that, or maybe you just feel like, oh, I can't practice meditation, and so you're kind of in your head about it, sitting in the silence. Sitting in the silence. That's all you're doing. Right? And so she talks about the need to sit in the silence, how to sit in the silence, why we sit in the silence, etc. And so that's another resource that you can tap into. That's another thing that you can use. But that's about the inner, right? And it's very important that you have the inner practice going. That's part of emptiness in this first condition. But there's also the outer. What is the outer about? Well, this echoes another thing that we learned in Open Your Mind to Prosperity this summer in our masterclass. We know that giving creates a vacuum. It is a universal law that you must give to get. And so practicing the first condition, we must give of our finances as a spiritual practice regularly, frequently, and systematically, right? And this is not just me saying this because I'm a pastor. It is not me just saying this because this is a spiritual community or a church. Here at Todd Michael, this is his words, and he's a doctor, a medical doctor. Look carefully at your own situation. If you are not experiencing complete abundance in every area of your life, you must be blocking your flow of incoming energy and resources in some way. The antidote is to release your death grip on your stagnating supply of energy. The temporary loss that is created as you begin to give creates a vacuum, which in turn starts to break up the dam. New flow will be stimulated. You don't have to give a large amount. What is important that you are willing to release something and that you practice this releasing regularly and consistently. Y'all know I say this all the time during giving. Right? Not giving is the equivalent of holding your breath. This is the death grip that he's talking about. And so emptiness, literally, when I exhale, I'm emptying out my lungs, which then prepares me by law, naturally, to be able to breathe in, to receive. This is the first condition. Spirit abhors a vacuum. Life abhors a vacuum. It is a natural state of being. And so we understand this instinctively. I breathe out. I must breathe in. And there's air available for me to breathe in, right? Billions of people on this planet, and there's enough oxygen for all of us. And so in closing, I want to talk about another way that we create an outer vacuum, and that's through the spiritual practice of fasting. I was reminded that last year in the Affirmative Prayer Mastermind, someone asked me about fasting. And one of the questions, because of course, if many of you, if you were raised like I was in the Pentecostal church, we practice prayer and fasting, and they kind of go together, right? I've been there with the best of them. Daniel fast, the whole thing. I've done it all, right? And so this was something that we learned in practice that we were supposed to do. Now, we do not teach or encourage fasting at CSC, primarily because of the way that fasting is practiced, and it is antithetical to universal spiritual law. What do I mean? Well, fasting as a sign of devotion to God is absolutely not necessary. Fasting as a sign of one's spiritual mastery is absolutely not necessary. Fasting as a sacrifice to get God's attention or to get God's blessing is not necessary at all. Absolutely unnecessary. That was something I did. Like, oh, if I knew I was really trying to bring something into my life, then this is what I would do. I would fast, because then God would know I was serious. Fasting as a symbol of suffering, because Jesus also suffered and everyone must bear their cross, is absolutely not necessary. Fasting to prove that you are in the world, but not of it. Oh, I don't need all this food. I got God. Is absolutely not necessary. With that said, there is a way to use the spiritual practice of fasting with the understanding of what we've been talking about today, that you're practicing the first condition. And so, as I said, this is something that I've never said before, I've never shared before, but in this context, it's powerful to consider as we recognize that we're doing this on an inner level and we're also doing this on an outer level. So we're giving of our finances, but just as giving of our finances creates a space within us that will be filled, we can use fasting in this manner. You can intentionally and deliberately practice a fast in order to create that thing that we talked about, a place or condition of potential. Because I know, just as I know that when I exhale, there will always be the inhale. So I know that if I turn my plate over, I'm creating this condition of emptiness, knowing that it will be filled. I'm not doing this because I'm trying to convince God to do something. It's God's nature to fill. I'm not doing this to try to prove that I'm spiritual. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. I'm not doing this to sacrifice, because sacrifice is unnecessary. I'm not doing this to express that I'm truly in the world but not of the world, because the true reality of who and what you are both human and spiritual. And so you must acknowledge your human nature. You got to eat. But as you create this place or condition of potential within yourself, not to get God's attention, not to prove how deep or spiritual you are, not as a sacrifice to a deity, not to prove that you love God, but to create a space that God will fill, God will fill it. Why? Because spirit abhors a vacuum. For this truth, I am so very grateful. I am so very thankful. And for this truth, I say amen, ashe, and so it is.
Ooh, PG coming in hot for the month of September. Powerful message to begin this series. So much goodness in there that you might have missed some of it. I encourage you to come back to it this week. Yes. Sit with what he's saying. Allow yourself to release some old ideas that you've been holding about God, your relationship to God, what God requires of you. He's telling you there is no sacrifice, but you're entitled to open yourself up to this potentiality.
Yes.
Whenever you choose.
Yes.
And so I'm excited for this series because I feel like it's going to take everyone's understanding to a new level. Mm-hmm. Of awareness within themselves, not for a grade. You know, it is September. We're not trying to make you have to pass a test. We're saying because you've been with us this long, we keep bringing you things to maybe slightly shift the way you've thought before, to open yourself to receive miracles in a new way.
Yes.
So please come back to this message this week.
Yes.
And if you have been in your mind struggling with meditation, make it easy on yourself. Wherever you are in that process, God will be there and is there. So the breath is your entry point. Let that be enough.
Absolutely.
Thank you, PG.
Oh, you're welcome. In this moment, it is time for giving. You see the information on your screen and you've seen it throughout the stream. It's very easy to give to CSC. You can go to our website, celebrationsc.org, and /give and give your dollar amount there. Of course, you see you can download the Church Center app and give via the app, or you can text your dollar amount to 347-744-9500. There is a $10 minimum for text to give. Whichever method or means that you choose to give, all good, that's up to you. We ain't in your financial business. But what we know to be true is that giving is like breathing. Right? We talked about this idea of emptiness, right? So I know that there's always something that each and every one of us desires. And so the way that we keep that space available for Source to fill it easily and effortlessly and naturally because it's its nature is to keep that flow going by giving. So this is why we give regularly. This is why we give consistently here to where we are spiritually fed. Right? So choose the dollar amount that feels good to you and then give that dollar amount regularly and consistently. And when you give from that awareness, then you can affirm this truth. All the money that I circulate. Returns to me multiplied. In a never-ending cycle. Of increase.
And enjoyment.
To that we say amen.
Amen.
Ashe. And so it is. Yes, and so it must be. Well, again, we are grateful to be here with each and every one of you. We're grateful for another Sunday. We have come to the close of our service this Sunday, so we trust that you will have an amazing and powerful week, remembering that all things are possible for you, remembering and knowing that God is good and God is within you. Therefore, goodness is within you. And so we trust that you will live out your days and live out your week with that goodness. Be sure to join us on Wednesday for the Momentum Prayer Call. Be sure to download the Church Center app and join us in the CSC Live group. This is a wonderful way to connect with the CSC community outside of the live stream, to connect with us and all of the beautiful souls that are a part of this community around the globe. We look forward to seeing you there in prayer and, of course, back together next Sunday for the weekend service. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.
Bye for now.